Wait, I can't hear you.
I know you can't hear me. It's because I don't have a microphone in my...
But if I can't either, then can they?
They don't have it in my nose at all. I was just thinking that. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was holding it last time. Why is this not working? How come they can't hear me? What's happening?
I can hear you fine.
You can hear me fine?
You sound gorgeous.
Aw, thanks, sweetheart. I appreciate it. All right. Well, I tell you what. I don't know what it is, but it seems like every time we're getting ready to do a live stream, I get like way nervous.
Are you nervous now?
No. Nope. Pretty much as soon as it's like 5 or 10 minutes to like we go, I'm like good. But for some reason, like all day today, I've just been very nervous, like nerve-wracking.
Big day, got a show to perform.
To our millions and millions of fans, again, thank you so much for watching live today. If you are, we do all of our podcasts live. Podcasts.
It counts. We can call it the podcat.
Was that pretty good?
It sounded like a cat purring.
How about this one?
It sounded like a different kind of cat purring.
Well, anyways, yeah, I just, for some reason, like I just get nervous. Like I get to thinking about how excited I am to do it, and then I get really excited, and then I get nervous. I'm just like, I get all tense and stuff. I don't know why. No, mostly it's like dry heaving in the gutter while I'm delivering packages. Just
I think it's like, because you used to play live music in front of crowds. So like you remember that feeling of like, oh crap, just like
this is happening. It's gonna happen momentarily.
Yeah, exactly. And then like you actually get into the thick of it, and you're like, oh, okay, this is pretty chill. Like,
I forgot how much this rocks.
Like this is actually pretty chill. I like it.
Yeah,
so.
It's pretty much that time, like the waiting, and doing something while you're waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think especially with like this is a podcast, but like with a band performance, like so many different things can go wrong. You got a lot of sound issues that you could run into.
Yeah,
a guitar string breaking was like my biggest fear when I was on stage. So you have like a bunch of these common factors of like, oh man, I hope this doesn't happen. I hope this doesn't happen. And then like you actually perform, and it's like, yeah, this is tight.
I love this. Yeah, no, I tell you what, I've experienced that on stage. I've had guitar strings break in the middle of a show, in the middle of a song.
I have never had a guitar string break on me in the middle of a performance. Thankfully to say, like, I'm sure it'll happen eventually, but like to this day, I've never had a guitar string break while I was performing.
Well, that's good.
I actually play very lightly, so it's never been like a huge issue. The only time I've been playing for like 14 years, and the only time a guitar string has ever broken on me is when I'm tuning it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never broken. Actually, no. I've only ever broken my string while playing once, and that's because I was being more aggressive than I should have been. So, but we've all had that. So
yeah, for sure. And like that's just kind of one of those things. Before I was playing guitar, when I was playing out with groups and stuff, I actually played bass in the first band that we actually went out and played shows.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, I used to do the downstream get fiddle with the fatter strings.
He has one right here too.
I do. I'm actually really excited that I got one because it gives me an opportunity to kind of relive that. But at this particular show, we were playing at a local gallery out in Phoenix, downtown Phoenix, and it's really old and run down, and they have pretty much all of the walls exposed, but mostly for sure the roof, or where the ceiling would be, it just was open in the rafters. And so they ran all of their cables, like kind of like snaking them in and out of the rafters. And so we're up there, we're jamming, and we're at the part where I can do a quick bass throw and swing it around and catch it. And I had practiced and gotten really good at it, and we knew exactly when it was going to happen and what it was going to do. And I did it, and I threw my bass, and I went like this to catch, and it didn't come back. So I was like, what is going on? So I'm looking left, I'm looking right, I'm like, where is my bass? And I look up, and it's stuck on some of the cables, and it actually yanked one of the mains. So we only had one side full of music.
Oh,
it was
shoot.
so embarrassing. Oh my goodness.
That's one of those real, like, everybody in the crowd that's played shows before is like, rookie move, bro. See, like, I've always been nervous about that. Like, I did learn how to throw my guitar, but like, I didn't throw it like this. I actually threw it the other way.
Yeah.
For me, that was much easier. And the strap that I had, this is really important. So when you get, if you're going to throw your guitar on stage or your bass or whatever, you need to get strap locks. If you throw that thing and you don't have it locked into anything, you could say goodbye forever, and you could have a very embarrassing moment like that on stage. Mm-hmm. But I always learned how to throw it back instead of like forward, because I found that way to be much easier, and it was much easier to catch too. So.
Yeah, you could actually see it come down too, instead of hoping that that neck is coming back up at your face at the right time in the right moment.
Exactly.
So you can catch it, so you don't get yourself hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time they would throw guitars wasn't really like that. That was kind of a new agey thing.
Yeah, that was. I wonder when that like came around and when that became a trend.
I'm actually curious. I bet it was like in the early to mid 2000s. I bet, because I know in the 90s it was all about breaking shit. Like that's all they wanted to do at the end of their tours and everything, or even like during like regular shows, they just break their guitars and like, you know, break drums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know shortly after that, it's like, okay, this is too expensive. We're not doing this anymore. It seems. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, this is me just, you know, from the book of Jacob here. And so I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about again? Guitars, playing.
Yep. Performing.
Performing. So yeah, instead of breaking stuff, I lost my train of thought. They would actually take their guitars off, and actually Chris, the bass player from Nirvana, would actually do it. He would actually take it completely off, and he would huck it like as high as he possibly could and try his best to catch it.
So yeah, a lot of people nowadays will actually do that with their guitar techs.
Mm-hmm.
So because you know how with a lot of bands that will come out like, and they have techs that like switch out their gear and stuff. Yeah. So there have been bands, I think Breathe Carolina is one of them, but like what they do with their guitar techs is their guitar techs literally come out and they throw their guitars at them, and they're like, you know how to catch this, so this is on you. Like,
that's nuts.
So yeah, that's just what they do for their shows, is they just have their guitar techs chuck their guitars at them, and they catch them like halfway through a song too.
Okay, that's awesome. Like, especially if you get to the rhythm to the point where you can trust each other, because like, the most important part is obviously to catch it, but if you don't have a good person that's going to lob it to you in a way that it's going to like, because you don't want the thing to be spinning, obviously you want it to kind of throw it, and then right where it needs to go, you know, they can catch it or whatever.
Yeah, that's why they had like their techs doing it, not their like just some guy.
Guys, their buddies in the back, like trying to plug stuff in. I think this is where it goes.
But then again, I'm also very finicky with my stuff. So if I'm playing a show and I know I have people handling my guitar, I want to know who's handling my stuff.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Like, I don't know if that's like everybody.
You look that sucker in the eye and you say, I'm going to trust you.
Yeah. I don't know if that's everybody, but like that's just
otherwise. This is going to be a very expensive repair.
Yeah, especially like if that's a guitar that you've put a lot of work into. Like, for me, especially with my acoustic guitars, I've put like I have one that I've installed 3 different pickups in it, and I've done like a lot of work to it all around. So I mean, like that thing I've taken really good care of, and I've done a lot of work on. So if I have somebody touching my stuff, I'm gonna be like.
You want somebody that kind of knows what they're doing.
It's sturdy and all, but like still, I want to know what's going on.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, you know, we never really, you know, with the second group I was with, where we played out an awful lot more and a lot more higher end venues back in Phoenix, Arizona. We were able to get to the point where we could buy like the low mid tier stuff.
Yeah.
Like our drummer, like he dropped probably about $2,000 on his drum set. I remember.
Okay, but like
there's a lot.
Drum kits are expensive. Like each singular piece to replace alone is amazing. Like
yeah, I'm impressed with drummers. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Same.
But yeah, like I had kind of like the low mid range like Epiphone Les Paul. So it wasn't
I had one of those at one point.
Yeah, like with the block inlays, it was really nice. I actually really missed that guitar. I'm sad that I pawned it off. I think I bought it brand new for like $600 or $700, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I just put
great.
I just put my acoustic baritone guitar up for sale, which I didn't think I was ever gonna do, but you know, got bills to pay, struggling college student, and it's the guitar that I don't use. So
yeah,
which I don't know why I don't use it as often as I probably should. Like if you have a baritone instrument in the guitar range, like you're gonna wanna use that.
Yeah,
you want that extra bass.
You want those low ends, yeah.
Yeah. But then again, not the guitar that I play the most, so.
Yeah, I think I play on the acoustic, like outside of stuff mostly when I do like practice stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll only use the acoustic electric or the electric guitar for like recording stuff or, you know, needing to play loud with like a group and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just playing acoustic guitar all the time. I don't really do a ton of the electric unless I'm like, all right, I want to hear some loud noises.
Yeah.
You know, and you crank it to 11, which doesn't exist, and then you mess with all the neighbors and play loud noises.
Yeah. And I play a lot of fingerstyle, so it makes sense for me to play acoustic guitar a lot, but at the same time, I pick up my telly as often as I possibly can because that's the instrument that I first learned how to play a lot of jazz music on. And learning how to play jazz on the guitar has been it's opened up a lot of doors to so many different techniques that you can use in literally everything. So
I like it.
Yeah.
I didn't really get to learn too much outside of the pigeonhole that I put myself with music.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was learning music, the biggest thing that I had myself focusing on was like learning how to play a lot of rock music. Like within my first 6 months of playing guitar at 10 years old, I was like going to my instructor and being all right, I want to learn this Flyleaf song. And so that's what we do for the majority of our lessons is he would teach me how to play a lot of rock music on the guitar. And we just kind of went away from like the actual structure of learning classical guitar and like how to read music and how that actually works. And I never
you can actually read notes.
No, I never really learned, like we skipped that. So
yeah.
I never learned how to like, actually no, that's a lie. I did learn how to read music, but it was not the kind of thing that I was into. And I was like, I already know how to play guitar. Like I know what I'm doing, obviously. Although I probably would learn a lot more if I knew how to read music. So
yeah,
but,
I only learned tabs. That was about
same.
the extent of my sheet music learning.
Yeah, but then I see other musicians who know exactly what's going on the guitar and they know how to read music and they know like what scales to use or like
know what key that you're playing in.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus what key you're singing in.
Like they know the chart and it's like everything that you want to learn how to do. It's like they know how to do 10 times better. So probably should know how to read music at this point. But
yeah, well,
we were really like, nah.
Do you remember the first song that you learned on the guitar?
Oh yeah, the first song I learned how to play on guitar was like either Iron Man or Smoke on the Water. Like those were like those were the two most basic. But no, like I think the very first song like I learned how to play on guitar, like the first actual song I learned how to play on guitar was probably, I think it was because I was still playing acoustic at the time. I think it was the Only Exception by Paramore. That was it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had to think
it's
for
a
a
great
minute.
song.
But yeah, because it was on acoustic guitar and the strum pattern's easy, it was like a 3-chord progression. It was super easy. So
yeah, I remember my first song. Well, I don't remember the first songs I learned, but
I could probably get you a list of the music.
Well, there was a beginner book that my mother had. I learned how to play the guitar on a classical guitar with a big fat learning neck. So, playing on nylon strings and trying to reach for those chords was, different. But I actually learned like out of the book that she had, and I realized obviously it wasn't the music that I liked, but it was kind of getting me into it. But I remember, I think I was about 14 or 15. My grandparents, they gave me my first guitar. It was a Squire Bullet with the practice amp, the little 5-watt practice amp or whatever it is. And the first song that I learned was "Damn It" by Blink-182.
Good old
that was
Blink-182.
the first song I ever learned, and I learned most of it by ear, by actually listening, because I had the album. I was listening to the song and trying to figure it out where it is on the fretboard and stuff. Hi, Rianne, welcome.
My soul uplifts a little bit more every time I see Rianne walking down here.
And I actually the doggos are so happy. We need a secondary camera just for the doggos, I think.
Yeah.
Like on Crowder.
Yeah,
for people
I
that
love
are watching
dog.
and can't see, there are some dogs.
Yeah, we got a little miniature pincher and a Chihuahua Terrier. There are babies.
I apologize for being late.
Better
This
late
whole
than never.
plotting to take over the world thing is a big business.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is everything going good with that?
It's going.
It's going?
It's going.
All right.
Call Rianne to take over the world at 911.
No, wait, don't do that.
Don't do that. Only call that number for an emergency.
Yes.
Excellent. So we're just talking
Okay.
about like guitars and when we started learning and the
Oh.
first songs that we played.
I could probably
He
get
plays
you a
tab.
list of like the bands and the artists that I was listening to and learning from the most at that time. Like I remember it was like Flyleaf, 3 Days Grace, Sick Puppies. God, Sick Puppies, what a throwback. Like just that whole scene.
Starbuck, stop it.
But yeah.
That's amazing.
Sorry.
Even like some old Minutes to Midnight Linkin Park and that whole album.
Ooh.
That was I remember
that's not Meteora. It's
Minutes to Midnight.
Midnights to Midnight.
I can tell you that was actually the first album that I had bought. Was Minutes to Midnight.
That's a great album. That was the
Yeah.
first album I bought.
Yeah.
Bought from that was my favorite one too because
what?
it was so mellow, which was kind of different from their more aggressive rock music.
When
We're
they
talking about
were-
Linkin Park.
So was that the first album you bought of Linkin Park, or was that the first album you bought ever?
So Minutes to Midnight was the first album that I had ever bought myself. Because when I came out
Oh,
at that
wow.
time, I was
such a
like
nerd.
9 or 10. I was super young. I was just a kid, and I bought it with like the allowance that I got from my parents at the time. So
Oh my goodness, I'm such a nerd. I want to know which was your first album that you got on compact disc. We didn't even call them CDs back then.
I will tell you.
cassettes.
Oh goodness.
Oh, cassettes was MC Hammer.
Really?
Hammer Time. Yeah.
Really?
And my mom was upset.
I am such a nerd.
She did not like that. But the first compact disc I bought was hold on. I got to see.
Why are we holding for you to tell us
I'm
what album
holding.
it is?
I can't hold it any longer.
The first
Almost there.
disc I bought because I wanted to make sure I had the album title right.
Oh.
Was Ace of Base, The Sign.
Wow.
I saw the sign. And
I am such a
opened
nerd.
up
You wanna know
my
what my
eyes, I
first album
saw the
was?
sign. What?
My father bought it for me.
That's
went to
okay. If he bought it for you, he bought it for you probably
No,
because he knew.
But it was
you
like
wanted
it was like, back in the day when you actually would go to a record store to actually buy records.
Media
They also had CDs. And so I can't remember where we bought it. It might have been in Utah. We might have bought it at like a Sam Goody or something like that.
Is this Papa Rhyme Shussle?
Yeah. Thanks for using our last name.
Oh gosh.
Awesome. Well, now you know.
No, they didn't know that was your last name until you said thanks for using our last name.
Yeah, that's
You could have just hello.
They could have thought it was just some random person.
Yeah,
Papa
well,
Rhyme Shussle.
Yeah, because
Well,
I call people who
there we go.
aren't blood related.
We can bleep them out, right? For the
But
recording.
isn't your name associated with the
No.
account anyway?
No, my name's not on anything. It's just the periodic review. That's okay. I might be able to bleep it out.
For the if anybody's
edit?
listening live, say ha ha. And
Okay, so the moment we've all been waiting for, my first album, and my father bought it for me. It was around the same time Jurassic Park came out. So my first album I bought was a soundtrack. It was the soundtrack of the first Jurassic Park.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Couldn't get that.
I got a lot of soundtracks. Like I got like Chronicles of Narnia was one of the first ones that my sister and I had got together.
That's a really good
Oh,
one.
that makes sense.
All of them were really
Your
good.
age.
Not
Yeah.
Interstellar. Inception was a huge one too, because that
Love
soundtrack
that
is
movie.
like oh my same, but like the
So good. The
soundtrack
music
was like
is
Soundtrack's really
amazing.
trippy.
whoa, okay,
It's intense.
yeah.
It is. It's
then-
very intense. My favorite instrumental soundtrack, and one of the first ones I ever bought. Actually, there were two. I bought them together. It was Last of Mohicans
Ooh.
and Braveheart.
Ooh. Those are
Braveheart's
very
good.
ones. Those are very
Braveheart's good.
ones.
I freaking love Braveheart. The song that plays when they're doing their secret wedding ceremony.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like there have been moments in my life where I'm having just, the moments in your mind and stuff.
Yeah.
And that music just moves me to cry. And so
Aw.
like when I hear it, I like relive those things sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I listen to the soundtracks and it comes up where, it's a certain point in the actual film where that music is playing.
Point.
I don't know. My point was that, when I listen to some of these soundtracks, I'll actually relive the scenes that those soundtracks were played on. So it like kind of triggers that. So you kind of watch it over again in your mind, which is pretty fun.
The other soundtracks I really have enjoyed, and maybe it's because I love the story so much, but it's Harry Potter.
Outlander. Oh, no. Yeah.
Outlander's got a pretty good soundtrack.
The Outlander does. I'm a huge fan of instrumental stuff. Game of Thrones is very iconic in my mind. Like I hear the Game of Thrones. In fact, that's actually how I got turned
The Stark theme
Yeah.
is like
on. The start theme. Yeah.
like that one is like one of the most moving.
And
my
that's
goodness.
when I heard that because I put in like instrumental on Pandora and that played. And I was like, what is this from? I've got to see this. And I looked and it said Game of Thrones. And that's actually why I started watching Game of Thrones.
Is because of the soundtrack?
Because the soundtrack popped up on Pandora.
Valid. Very valid. Okay, I had the same experience with The Village. You guys ever see that movie?
Oh,
I love that
Okay,
movie.
I heard that sound. Like my sister likes to play a lot of soundtracks when we were kids, and I would always hear that one specifically. And hearing that soundtrack made me want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think
Good stuff.
I feel bad. Like I feel like M. Night Shyamalan, whatever his name.
Yeah, we know. who
I
you're
feel
talking
like his movies like get a bad rap.
about. I think.
But I really enjoyed The Village. I really enjoyed that.
I think no. So listen, a lot of his movies get a bad rap because he is the person that made the live action Last Airbender movie. He's that person.
Yeah, no, but they were getting a bad rap before that.
Yeah, there was some films that he
Were
did.
they?
I think
Oh,
Lady,
yeah.
Lady in
'Cause,
the
like,
Water.
Lady in the Water
did really
was
bad.
Oh,
Even
I
though it
But
was
he actually-
Lady in the Water.
decent, it was decent, but
he
yeah,
played
it was.
on he played on the critics
Oh,
But
he
if
in
did?
that movie. Do you not remember? This?
No.
Oh my gosh.
But if
we
you
have
look
to
at a
watch
lot of his old like Signs, Sixth Sense,
Mm-hmm.
Unbreakable, The Village, Split,
I
like
freaking love
he's got
Split.
some great movies.
Yeah.
it. He does, but like ever since The Sixth Sense, people like
think it was-
he got bad reviews on Signs, bad reviews on The Village.
Signs was really good.
I loved Signs.
He's
Yeah.
a really. He also so one of the Apple TV Plus series he actually directed, and,
Really?
and it's great. I actually, in my opinion, it's probably like some of his best work. Just saying.
Oh
But,
wow.
I'm excited for that.
I'm also biased, but if you guys ever get Apple TV Plus, or if you have Apple TV Plus, Servant, great show.
Servant?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one you showed me the
the baby?
No, the one that I was talking about to you was C.
Oh, with
It
Jason
has
Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
It has your boy in it.
I'll watch
It
it.
has
No.
your boy. She'll
So-
watch it from Jason Momoa. But
Servant is a different show on Apple TV Plus, which if you guys haven't already talked about getting it, suggested.
we did get our Chromecast.
Okay.
Yeah.
It came. We got it.
So we can watch. That's the whole, and that's the other reason why I got. That's the other reason why I got the Chromecast.
We can switch out some of our other stuff to get other stuff.
What?
As in, like, not everybody pays for every single streaming service. Like, we kind of pick and choose, and we find the series that we like. We'll do the trial, and then if we like it, we'll cancel one or the other two that we haven't been using enough.
Yeah.
And then pay for that.
Do you guys
'Cause
have
it's just so
AT&T, Verizon?
Verizon.
I think Verizon actually comes with it.
It comes with
Apple
like our.
TV?
With Apple TV Plus, yeah, I think so.
We'll have to look into that.
It might because we get our
We'll have to look
Disney
into that.
Plus through Verizon
That is true. We do. But we got
because of our
that
plan.
came with our plan. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, but we have the unlimited plan, and so they have benefits of like, if you have the unlimited plan, if you pay for the unlimited plan, you get these streaming services with it.
Gotcha.
And so I know Disney Plus is, but I'm gonna look into the Apple TV then. But we got the Chromecast, so we could.
Well, we're on the go.
No, listen, we got the Chromecast.
Oh, so you do Blaze TV on it?
No.
Well, that was part of the reason.
Would you
why we
stop
got it.
interrupting me and let me say what I am trying to
Were
say?
you trying to say something, or
Would
do you
you
just want me to
stop?
keep going? Hello?
See what I have to deal with,
Bless you.
Alakai.
Marriage is just
But-
the opportunity to know your best friend for the rest of your life.
Right.
So true.
No, the reason why
Little
we got
bit.
it is because we did the podcast last time, and Alakai was talking about an Apple. He was talking about one of the Apple series on the Apple TV, and I said, "Well, I should get a Chromecast so we can watch it on the TV."
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
there's not an
Yeah.
actual.
Because
Smart
and
TV
you're like,
app
well,
for
why
it.
don't you just buy an Apple TV? And I'm like, because an Apple TV is like 130 and a Chromecast is
25,
30, 25, 30 bucks.
Yeah.
And so we can just do it from our TV or from our phone. And
Just
there's
stream
like
it.
several other apps that we could do that with.
Yeah.
Baller.
I think the only thing you have to have is you have to have the app, or not the app. Yeah, you have to have like the whatever you're streaming it from. Like if you're streaming Netflix from your phone to the Chromecast, you have to have your Netflix account hooked up to the Chromecast. Same thing with like Amazon Prime,
Right,
with
right,
Disney
right.
Plus, with all the other stuff. So I don't know if you can do it with Disney Plus right now because I tried it and it didn't work. So
Oh,
That's messed up.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Jacques.
You nerd. I love you, but you're.
I love you
nerd.
too. It's fun talking to
Okay.
you guys. Like, this is honestly better than like a bros night.
But it is a bros night until I show up.
Yeah.
Rian,
Guess a little bit.
you're one of the boys. Rian.
Story of my life.
Just one of the boys.
All my guy friends were like, "Hey,
Just
set
one of
me
the
up with your friend,"
boys.
and I'm like, "Dude, are you serious?"
I love hanging out with Jacob more than life itself.
Oh wow.
That is a huge compliment, babe.
That is a great
But-
compliment. We might have to talk about our relationship boundaries,
Hey,
but
hey, you need a bro.
I honestly do.
But-
like, I just work and write.
Same.
Well, I've been writing more lately though. I've kind of been in. I would probably say I don't really feel like writing right now. Feeling like it's not like I'm like having like any kind of writing block, but sometimes it's just like I don't really feel like sitting here and actually edit my book, and that's sad
Same
because
with
I love
music.
reading it. And once I do sit down and actually do it,
You enjoy it.
I enjoy it immensely.
Guess what?
Chicken butt. Want to know why?
Chicken
fry.
fry.
Oh my goodness.
Want to know the rest?
No, stop.
Get
Stop.
your mind out of the gutter.
I talked to my friend today, my
Oh.
coworker. She says she's willing to edit your book.
I thought we already talked to her about that.
Yeah, but she said
But that
she's
was
willing.
ages ago.
Yeah, it was
so-
a while ago. You've taken a minute, and she says she's willing to do it for free.
Oh. Well, we'll have to give her a bonus.
I told her,
when
I
it
said,
goes
we'll
big.
give you a percentage of the proceeds. And she said, you don't have to do that. And I said, I can do what I
I
want.
think we'll write her a nice check. I don't know if we'll do a percentage
Well,
thing.
what if she changes her mind once she sees the amount of dollars that you're making from that book?
That'd be pretty baller. And, if she wanted to work something out, I would make her my full-time editor. That'd be amazing. I need an editor because my brain is scattywampus, like left field, right field. Where am I going again? And then it kind of makes sense in the end.
But does it even matter?
I don't know. Is this even life?
Oh my gosh, do not go there.
Are we in a simulation?
If you didn't get it, I just referenced Lincoln Park. But anyways, I was saying, what I was saying was I love hanging out with Jacob, but at the same time, like having you here like elevates it a little.
This
bit,
is fun. Like it really is.
He married up for
It's very-
sure. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man.
I'm kidding. I love you.
Oh my God.
This is so much fun. I love our
No,
conversations.
I was just meeting with one of my friends, and I was like, I love Jacob. I'm like, it's not like he's a millionaire.
No.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. Maybe eventually.
But I'm like, I'd rather have a husband who's supportive and loves me and takes care of me, like mentally and emotionally, than have a dude who's just like, all he cares about is work. However, because I have a tendency that all I care about is work sometimes.
Okay, but yeah, same. I feel like
everybody has that.
I feel like whenever, like, do you ever feel like when you hang out with a group of friends, like the majority of what you talk about is your job?
Well, yeah, because if you think
Yeah.
about it, that's where we spend the majority of our life.
Yeah.
And that's
True.
where most of our day-to-day experience lies.
And also the majority of the friends that you hang out with are friends that you work with.
Yep.
But that's also because like if you're all working for something that you love, and as you should be, and you're all hanging out outside of work, I mean, obviously you're going to want to talk about the things that you do. So like,
Yeah.
it makes sense too, because that's the majority of the experiences you have to share together. So
Well, and yeah, so like I'm learning very quickly that tribes matter in respect to,
agreed.
it's part of who we are as human beings to congregate and to be a part of a tribe. It's like a survival thing. It's ingrained. It's how we survive. And so, but I think it's also very important to have tribes in different aspects of your life, right? Like
Yes.
I definitely have a work tribe.
You have a great work tribe.
I have
For
a
sure.
work tribe, and
Like you can call it culture too, like work culture. The tribe's good.
tribe is good. Culture is different.
I much prefer
Yeah.
the word tribe over the word clique.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's the other thing is I feel like I try and
Click
stay
sounds
pretty. I try to stay pretty
Let's
inclusive.
get in my
and,
clique.
But I realized like I had a great work tribe, but then that's not always healthy either. I mean, like it is healthy to get together and talk and stuff, but if that's the only thing you're getting together and talking about, then all you're really focused on is work.
Right.
Yeah.
So
by the time you get home, you're going to be
Yeah.
exhausted.
Like
So-
You do work, and then you talk work.
was already burned out before.
Yeah. But so I've been trying to, work on developing a social tribe. A tribe of friends that support me and stuff that aren't necessarily work related. And like, we go work out together.
So now it's your workout tribe.
Yeah. But I have
But
a
it's
good
good.
friend here.
You need
in
a bit of everything.
Yeah. So I have a friend here in Cedar that we've become good buds. And that's been helpful. That's helped kind of balance me out.
Yeah. So
Because then I can also complain about my husband too. No, my gosh, I didn't do the
Sometimes
dishes
you need
again. No, I'm just kidding. And
oh my
you know
goodness,
what?
he was
like
snoring so loud
He-
last night.
I like doing dishes.
Yeah. But you need bros outside. Like, and your job's pretty solitary.
Yeah, it really is. It's pretty self-sufficient.
It
so
is
just-
also very difficult for men to find good guy friends.
That's actually true too.
At least it is for me. I don't know if it is for anybody else, but I mean, like for me, like men are terrifying. Like making friends with them is like what?
Well,
here's the
and
thing.
also finding somebody that you can actually open up to. It's not like, hey,
Yeah.
bro, doing good? Yep. You too? Yep. All right, let's
Okay,
play
so
some video
men
games.
normally have bonded. They've used sports, right? Sports have been one of those things that men bond over
Yeah.
and everything.
I think that's what makes it difficult for us. Is like we're
Because if
not.
you're not
Are
in
you?
sports, no.
Yeah, I'm not either.
The most sports I ever watch is like some MMA clips every once in a while, and occasionally I'll drop in on some esports, like with like League of Legends.
Watching.
That's not a sport.
Okay,
that can be an
Okay,
argument.
it's a mental
but like,
sport, but
that's for a podcast
Yeah.
for another time.
the most amount of sports that I usually watch is I'm actually starting to like find enjoyment in watching basketball. Do I care at all about who wins or not? No, because I'm from a bunch of different places. Like I
As long as it's
But-
exciting, then yeah, it's
but
interesting.
watching like rock climbing competitions, those are fun. Those are so fun to watch. Like for anybody.
I've never watched one.
They're really cool. Like if you ever
Like
just
speed runs or like
No, well, there's 3 different tiers. You have the bouldering, which is like shorter routes, but they're much more difficult. So it's like you're watching the person like put this mental puzzle together.
Mhm.
And there's like the actual sport routes, which is like they got the harness you clip in as you climb, and then there's speed runs, and the speed runs are terrifying.
yeah.
But yeah, like watching that is super fun. I think it was pretty smart for the Olympics to finally accept them into being a part of the Olympic sports. Like.
That's interesting. I think
Yeah.
it's probably going to be an ever expanding, like the Olympics. Eventually, they'll have other sports or create new sports.
Like esports?
Yeah, like esports.
Esports
well,
in the
isn't
Olympics.
esports part of the Olympics now?
Is it?
I don't think so.
Snowboarding was an esport, and it became an official.
No, we're
esports
talking
sport.
about
like
like
electronic, like
Yeah.
like video games.
Well, then what were the sports like skateboarding and all that?
Oh,
stuff?
they were extreme sports.
Oh,
which is- which is-
like
X.
yeah, or you're
X
thinking
Games
X
kinda
Games.
stuff. But they
Well,
do
it
have
comes with
snowboarding,
the
and they do have snowboarding.
Snowboarding is in the Olympics,
I don't
yeah.
know about skateboarding. That would be pretty baller if they did.
I think skateboarding is more of an X Games thing.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong on it. I just haven't seen skating in Olympics.
Yeah, like
It'd be pretty awesome if they did.
yeah, I think they lumped all those a lot in with the.
Well,
extreme ones,
it
like
wasn't
BMX
like
and-
part of the official like Greek Olympics.
Yeah.
Ballroom dance, I think, has been admitted into.
Was rock climbing part of the original Olympics? Because
it could have been.
That's a good question. I
'cause,
honestly have
like
no
rock
idea.
climbing wasn't super like popular, and it wasn't like huge until like more back in the 1950s. I believe it was the 1950s. I think.
I don't know.
I don't know a lot of the history.
I don't either.
Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I have a cousin who's really into it.
Oh yeah,
She like Brooker.
Yeah.
She goes rock climbing quite a bit.
I
She's
used to climb almost full time and then moved to Texas. So
sorry.
Huh.
no.
I'll have
Should've
to
just
touch
stayed
base
there.
with her. I'll be like, when are you coming down to? She comes down here all the time and never says hi. But it's usually because it's because she's spending her time rock climbing. And let's face it, I am not a rock climber at this moment in time of my life. I'm not saying I'll never be one, but
Yeah, I'm trying to take on the challenge of speed walking right now.
speed walking.
Yeah.
If I
Do I
get
get a-
lucky enough,
oh.
I might dip into some prancercising.
Oh, yes,
That's an 80s reference, actually.
dude.
Wasn't around back then.
I think it was mid or late 80s when the prancercising lady came out.
Oh
It was
my
like-
gosh,
not
she's
around back
amazing.
Huge meme. Like it's still a huge meme today, and people even still talk about it, even kids younger than us, which is redonkulous.
Redonkulous. Oh my god.
Okay, so
Yeah, bad
how
dad.
much? So
Wait,
how
I
much
thought
time
we
do
were-
you have?
I thought we were gonna talk about.
Yeah,
Paranormal stuff?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
this is the first time I've
No,
ever
but
seen Rihanna
honestly,
excited
this
about
is-
paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
I
but
get
mean,
so
like,
excited.
we like spooky stuff, right?
I love watching those creepy movies, like on
We-
CCTV videos where it like shows stuff that's creepy and stuff. I love that stuff.
Watched The Conjuring 2 this weekend.
You did or no?
It was good. No, we didn't watch the new one. I watched The Conjuring 2. I heard the new Conjuring actually wasn't that great, sadly. But
yeah, I kind of feel like that with a lot of sequels. Like I have a hard time with sequels.
I
Like,
heard
Insidious, like it was okay with it. I think it had like 4 or 5 edition. Like,
I saw the
movies.
first Insidious. I never saw the rest of them. But I heard like the Conjuring universe, like the Conjuring 1 or 2 were good, but I heard Annabelle wasn't that great. I heard The Nun wasn't great, and I heard the newest.
Oh, The Nun creeped me out.
No, it was creepy, but
I hated The Nun.
The newest
storytelling
Conjuring-
wise wasn't very good. But
yeah,
that's
that's what I heard too. It relied solely on jump scares, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the effects of. Yeah.
See, this is the issue that I have with watching, and we still watch the genre like horror and gore films because they can be interesting, and sometimes they do really good at storytelling, but it's not had a good run with that genre with making scary films with a good story.
See, I'm very picky when it comes to like horror movies because a lot of it is just the same thing that you've seen over and over again. It's like family moves into a house. House is haunted. House needs exorcism. Like the only movies that I've seen that have done that really well are like the 2 Conjuring movies, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And those were done very cleverly, if that's a word. And I also understand that they're based on true stories. I don't know how accurate the storytelling is, but like,
well, probably
still.
true stories as
Warner Brothers
as
is willing to
somebody
admit.
told it.
Okay.
You know.
So are we going to talk about
Absolutely
paranormal movies or actual paranormal experiences?
I think everything sounds great, honestly.
Well, Rian, I want to know about the experiences that you had because I know, like you when you said that you had some stories, I was like,
we've had some stories together.
What have you
actually,
seen
that have been kind of questionable?
Yeah. Okay. Jacob doesn't believe me that our house that we lived in Ogden was haunted, but it was haunted.
Like the one that you moved
To
here from?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, it was haunted. Okay, so.
No.
Shut
This is
Don't even give me that crap because you saw it.
This is the BuzzFeed Unsolved team. You're like, it's haunted. And he's like, nope.
No, it was very haunted. So I lived there more than he did. So, and when I was there by myself, creepy. Anyway, okay, give me chills. So in my early 20s, how old are you? 23?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Mid.
I'm 24.
Yeah.
Are you really?
I know.
He's young.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so when I was about, yeah, 20.
That's ageist.
23,
sweetheart.
24. So I was about your age.
Okay.
There was a guy that lived across the street from my mom, and he was a full-fledged paranormal investigator.
Like he actually got paid to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, and it was a hobby thing. Like, nobody really gets paid to do that. I mean, let's be honest.
I have
Not heard
I have
the
no
story.
idea.
But he had all the equipment and everything, and he ran ghost tours in Ogden in October and stuff. Because 25th Street's really haunted
Go to your place.
in Ogden.
Yeah.
Like, there's some scary. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the Union Station in Ogden, we did a ghost tour of that. That was fun. But anyway, so he did a private tour for me and like 5 of my friends. And we went to the mausoleum in Ogden. I can't say which one because I don't want to. We were told not to share because it was a private tour. But we went to a mausoleum, and it happened to be the one where my grandparents were buried.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was kind of cool. So we were walking around in the mausoleum. It was a hot summer night, or like a balmy one. And it was lightning and thundering. It wasn't raining, just lightning and thunder. Okay? No joke.
Okay.
In Ogden. And we're in the mausoleum, and every once in a while, like flashes of lightning would go, you know, it was like, we were like legit.
Perfect circumstances.
Seriously,
paranormal
this
to
was
happen.
like the best. And he's like, okay, so we're going to go in. Now, when we go in, you got to like stay close together. Feel free to talk to him, encourage him to interact with us. And he had like these infrared cameras, and he had these EMF readers and all this stuff. And this was back in the day when everybody still had flip phones and didn't really have like a camera. You had to buy an actual digital camera kind of thing. So we all had our digital cameras. We were all excited. And we were walking around in the mausoleum, and we were all talking and just kind of joking around and all that stuff. And you know how on the mausoleum they have those...
The large pillars?
No, the little planters that they put on the square, like...
Oh, yeah.
So they have a square with the plaque of the name, and then they have like a little like mini vase so you can put flowers and stuff. Yeah. So a lot of people have put like fake flowers in all of them. And it was really damp because it was actually like the mausoleum was built on a swamp, in a swampy area. So the floor is always wet, all this stuff. And we're walking around, and all of a sudden, a plant flew out from one of the top things. And we were like, what the heck? And we turn around, and my friend Cammie was standing there, and one of the like a strand of hair was being held up. And it wasn't like a static. It was like being held up so that there was like it looked like somebody was holding it, but there was nobody there.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
And we were taking pictures and everything. There were orbs everywhere.
Oh,
everywhere.
Man.
It was crazy. We were so scared.
This is fake news. That is dust.
I at least want to hear the story.
It's a terrible impression.
You stop it. Anyway, so we're going out, and they're like, okay, now as we leave, you need to ask all the spirits to stay here, because we've had experiences where spirits will latch on to people and they'll take them home.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And I'm like, what? And so we were like, okay, everybody stay here. Nobody come home with us. Like we were being silly and dramatic, but it was a pretty intense night. I'm not doing it justice, but I could call my friends and they could corroborate my story.
Corroborate?
So one of you or you took something home?
No, we did not take something home.
You sure?
Yeah.
Then what followed you to the last house?
It wasn't following me.
Well, it wasn't following me.
You don't know that? You don't believe in ghosts.
Okay, so we just swapping stories? Is that what we're doing?
I want to hear more stories. Did you have stories?
Is this?
So I don't.
Do you have any stories?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have a lot of paranormal stories because I don't have a lot of experiences with them. When I go in, excuse me. When I go into places that are paranormal, I will pull allegedly that are claimed to be paranormal. I will provoke that thing like no other and poke the bear and be like, come with me. I have a nice spot at home that you I will provoke it. And I will be like,
known. Oh, you can't make yourself known? That's because
I don't think this place is haunted. No way. No. There's no ghost here. Fight me, ghost. That thing, throw that into my head. I will provoke so much and nothing. I get nothing.
Interesting.
So, I don't know if secretly, no. If there is a ghost somewhere in my life just poking me and pointing things in different directions or whatever, but I myself have not I've been into places that are claimed to be paranormal, but I have not had any experiences with any ghosts myself.
Interesting.
But I will say, so the girl that I'm seeing, my lovely woman, so she lives.
Can we at least get a first name? Or no?
I'm not gonna put her name out there because I've not gotten her permission to.
Oh, anyways, fair enough.
That's a good boyfriend.
So
I'm I don't care. I'll just say everybody's name.
Right. Okay. So the place.
Good job.
The place that she's living right now is supposedly haunted. And last weekend when I was over, I actually went into this. So where one of the bathrooms is in one of the more supposedly haunted places. And I went up there and I thought I saw something for a minute, but I was like, nah, okay, it was probably just one of the shadows from the plants because there's a lot of plants in that room. So I was like, okay, there's probably a lot of different things to explain it with, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. So
Boomer. Boomer.
But I have also seen like videos where like the owner was like, yeah, I was not home during this time, but like you can clearly see in this video there are people walking around. And she showed me a video and it looked like there were like shadows but outlined as a person. And it looked like someone was like turning and like it looked like there was an outline of their arm. And it very clearly looked like it was a person walking in their kitchen. And I was like, okay.
That's pretty creepy.
Okay, it's true. This place is haunted.
This place?
I don't know about that. Do you want me to share my story from when I was working late one night doing security?
Yeah, but then we gotta talk about the experience we've had here that we got on our camera.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting to share too. Yeah, it's interesting.
I would like to point out, despite not having any experiences with ghosts, that does not mean I don't believe it. Carry on.
Well, I was just gonna say,
good man, Malachi.
Well, I don't know. That's not really a paranormal experience, but I was going to talk about the Phoenix Lights from the late '90s, but
that's not paranormal. That's just
not really paranormal.
That's aliens. We're not on aliens.
Well,
aliens can be considered paranormal, but
anyway,
that's a different topic, and we will get to that.
That's a podcast for another day. That's going to be like the ongoing joke.
Okay.
But anyway, so I'll share my experience. This is before our time. So before our time, I worked for a small mom and pa security company, and basically what we did is we hired and trained and people to go to these different construction sites that are being built and basically keep people from coming onto the property, making sure people don't come in and like steal like copper and stuff like that. And one of these rounds, I had been promoted to the chief of security, so I basically was running around and checking on all the guys, making sure they're doing the paperwork and stuff. And on this particular one I went to, there was 2 guys there because it was a very large site. And we got together and we were talking face to face, and then just off in the distance was the school that was being built, and there was a light on inside. And while we were talking, and I looked up, and it looked like somebody turned and looked at me. I looked down and I was like, wait, there's somebody over there. And I looked up again and I saw him turn and walk away. But it wasn't a person. It looked like a classic shadow person.
Huh, okay. So it looked like they were turning around and walking away.
Yeah, well, the first time it looked like just like, kind of like there's somebody out there. Like somebody like doing like a quick kick turn or whatever. Yeah, and then just having it just turn and then walk away. But it looked like an outline of a person, like just a complete shadow.
Okay.
There wasn't like an actual person there. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to say a prayer really quick because I'm feeling kind of nervous and scared right now. Yeah, it was really cute. Like,
I think I always just kind of viewed it as like,
I don't know what it was.
I don't like
trick of the eye or
I don't like using this comparison, but it's like, how with bugs, you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. Same thing with ghosts, right? Unless it's like a Conjuring story.
Unless it's a malevolent spirit.
If it's the kind of spirit that's like, you can F right off, my friend.
Well, and yeah, angry spirits are scary.
So I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell you what it was or what it wasn't, but it definitely was freaky. Could have been
spooks.
Yeah, it could have been my imagination. It really could have been a spirit. I mean, could have been a demon. I don't know.
I will say,
could have been anything.
The old main building at SUU is supposedly haunted. So is like the Shakespeare Theater.
All theaters are
everything.
All theaters are haunted.
I know.
Are haunted. My computer's haunted. Sometimes it'll just turn on.
I feel like my phone's haunted. It calls people randomly.
That or your butt's haunted.
Yeah, that's what it's your butt dialing.
So, okay, let's talk about what happened when we first moved in here.
Is that the one with the name tag bag?
Yeah.
Tell that story.
That was creepy. So Jacob and I, we were starting to get certified to be foster parents and stuff. So we were watching this foster parent or this.
Yeah, the training videos
foster.
that you have to do.
No. We were watching The Great Gilly Hopkins or whatever. It was a movie about foster kids.
Gotcha.
Instant Family.
No. It was a different one.
Sounds
but
like a
that's okay.
family put in the microwave.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyways.
So I had a bag of name tags that I had just ordered for an organization that I was serving on the board for. And it was sitting on the counter on like up by our sink. And it wasn't like, it was like a good 6 inches from any edge. It was.
I'll let you tell the story.
I will go find the video.
You're being very passive with your communication right now.
I am.
Because I'm right.
I don't think it was right on the edge, but I definitely don't think it was 6 inches away from the counter. I
It
think it might have
was,
been
because
like a few
I'm
inches.
the one that put it there.
But looking at where it was at, if it had fallen over, it shouldn't have gone over all the way.
Yeah, exactly. Like if
It
it
should
would
have been enough.
If it just tipped over, it would have just.
Maybe. We could be recalling it
we have
correctly.
the video.
Yeah, I know. We'd have to go back and see it.
And I sent it to my peeps, and they were like, "Oh hell no!" They were like, But it was so. If it would have just fallen over from being unstable, it would have just tipped and stayed on the counter. But we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, it's like on the floor,
Like as if it slid that 6 inches, and
as
then...
if somebody like pushed it with enough force that it would go
topple over
onto the floor.
That's creepy.
And me and Jacob like look at each
we
other.
look at you, we're like eyes
and
like
we
this,
were
but
like,
we're
"What
like,
the fuck?
did we just experience an
happened?"
actual ghost, like together?
It was so weird.
Experience a ghost.
I didn't get it on my infrared though.
And so we rewound the tape because we have the camera, and we watched it over and over, and we were like,
how in the world did that?
Like, and we just sat and watched it, and it's just like it literally looked like somebody just pushed it over. Like,
Easy.
Like.
Don't throw my thermos
I'm
on the
not
floor.
gonna throw it, but it looked like somebody went like that.
Oh, ow.
Oh, sorry.
Your foot.
That's only my toe.
I'm sorry. I can't see where your toe
You
was.
moved your foot. You knew it was coming. You're like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
how could
move
you not
this.
move your foot?
I told you not to tip it over, and you said, I'm not gonna, and then she did it anyways.
No, you said don't throw it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna throw it. I'm
She
gonna
said,
show
I'm
you.
not gonna. And then she
Okay.
kicked
Okay. Anyway, so it looked like that.
it. So it looked.
Alika, you handle our banter so well. Bless you.
So yeah, that was actually a pretty interesting experience. I'll be honest, but I mean, there could have been a whole slew of reasons.
I wonder if that's still on my phone.
That video.
Yeah.
Tell
I
me
don't
about
know
the
why
one
you
about
would-
the door opening.
I think the only reason you would ever delete that is because you were scared to keep it on your phone.
What was it? Was it the garage door that opened? Or was it
Yes.
the bathroom door that opened?
I don't know. It was in this hallway.
I do remember that.
I think it was the garage door that opened. And it was closed. Like, closed. And it, like, opened.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It would. We heard
what the
a
hell?
Wait,
click.
like
We heard the click.
And have it
And
open.
the door going to the garage or like the garage door itself?
No, the door
the
going
door
into the garage.
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I figured.
But it was closed. And then something happened.
But it like opened like a good like 4 or 6 inches.
I will
And then it kind of went back and didn't latch. It was really interesting.
So, isn't one of the signs of a haunted house like static electricity is very heavy in some parts of the house?
Well, they say it's like cold spots in the house, or
Because I think I heard like if you have a
places where you walk in the room and it feels heavy.
It smells like sulfur.
Yeah, I heard like
Are you sure that's not that's something else?
I heard like when your house,
Your
like,
butt.
when you have like a certain part of your house, or like your house in general is very high in like static electricity, like your stuff sticks together, your hair stands up a lot, like that's a sign.
That
Uh-huh.
it is. Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
In which case, I think my bedroom is haunted. If it is not, then I just really need to get better dryer sheets.
Who are you gonna call? Nobody.
Oh my gosh. How is it I have
I'll handle
freaking
this
old
myself.
Vivint videos over here but I don't have the stupid
I don't know.
The ghost deleted it.
Didn't I find it and I text it to you?
Yeah, I swear
I
we
might have
shared it
texted
on
it to
social
you.
media too.
Oh, would you do it on your feed or your story? Because if your story, it only stays for a short time and it deletes.
I hardly put anything on my
I did
story.
learn that. I didn't know that was a new thing. I learned that this week.
When you put stuff on your story,
Yeah, it eventually goes away. Where if you do it on your wall or your feed.
every story goes away after 24 hours. That's been the thing with Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. That's how it's always been.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I learned that today. I don't know. I'm a boomer, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
You are not a boomer. Stop calling yourself a
I
boomer.
know.
You're like
You're a late millennial. You're an early millennial.
82 is early millennial.
you are.
I don't
you
know.
are an
I
early
don't know.
millennial.
I thought that. Okay. Well, I don't know.
You're an early millennial.
I guess so.
I am a Gen Xer.
Okay.
Wait, are you older or are you younger, Rian?
I'm older.
Oh, okay.
I
You
married.
said that with pride.
I am.
She's like, I'm the older woman. in
Yeah,
this
my first
relationship.
husband was older than I was. He was kind of a butthead. And so
Everybody
I was like,
says that about their ex.
Right.
Whether it's true or not.
oh yeah, no, he was, yeah, there's, yeah. But I said, next time I marry, I'm going to marry a younger man. So he has
Oh, shoot.
stamina to keep up with me.
That's why I'm trying to go on these power walks or speed walks so I can keep up with her.
That's right. Okay, I've got to find this video because it is creepy.
Petting the puppies.
Maybe we'll have to insert it somewhere into the video instead of the live feed.
We should, huh?
I do have a recurring. Well, I don't know if it's a recurring nightmare, but I kind of freak myself out sometimes, like when I watch some scary shows or paranormal stuff.
So is it
late
a
at
recurring
night.
dream or is it not?
Well, maybe it's a daydream, but I always feel like I'm gonna wake up and then there's gonna be an alien there, just kind of chilling there looking at me. Or
The aliens
peeking
on this
around,
podcast.
peeking around the corner. Puppy, what? I know this is such a long time. We don't give you any love.
See, the only time I'm ever scared is when I'm in the dark, but I feel like that's just everybody's. You're not scared of being in the dark. You're not scared of being alone in the dark. You're scared of not being alone in the dark.
This is true. But the reason why is because when you're in the dark, your sight is limited, so
Uh-huh.
all
You're
your
vulnerable.
other senses heighten. And so you become more
They know.
acutely aware of your surroundings. And that's when that sixth sense kicks in.
Yeah, we talked. I remember we talked about this in our sensation and perception class this last semester.
Well, I mean,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
before
talking about the five senses.
before all of
Mark it down.
our build up in societal stuff that we've become nowadays, back in the day when we were, hunting stuff with spears and skins and stuff,
Humanity.
we're worried about the dark because there could be jaguars.
Humanity has developed a fear of the sound of the toilet flushing.
What?
Yeah, did you not know that was a thing?
No.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Fear of the toilet flushing?
Yes. No, the sound of the toilet flushing.
What?
People are afraid of that sound?
Is that
Yeah.
a phobia or
Oh my
something?
gosh.
Yes.
We are so neurotic as a
For sure.
I can
species.
I can understand why you would be afraid of you're doing your business in the bathroom and you got the shower curtain closed. I would be afraid I would understand why someone would be afraid of
Yeah.
that. But the sound of the toilet flushing, that is an actual fear that people have.
That is nonsense. That is absolute nonsense.
You flush
how
the
many more
toilet and you get
things can
scared
we
of
be afraid
whoa,
of?
a car wash,
The pop of a
ducks quacking.
duck's quack. That'd be some major trauma that happened in that person's life, but that surrounded around ducks.
I have a fear of cactus. It's cactus, okay? It's a prickly plant.
Have you ever sat in one?
No, but I've sat my arm on one.
Oh, I have a good story about cacti. It's kind of off
I don't
topic,
think there's
but
ever really a good story about cats.
yeah, it's
Yeah, so I everybody I tell that to, they're like, "Wait, what? You're afraid of cactus?" And I'm like, "I think it's a totally valid fear. It's it's a prickly thing."
It is an instinctual fear if you've experienced it in a way that
Yeah.
is not
like porcupines.
intentional.
Just
Anything
like
pokey,
people
just
have the
sketchy.
people who have a fear of
Groundhogs.
heights usually have a fear of heights because like they acknowledge like, oh, I could fall.
So does this make sense then? I'm not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of falling into my death.
Yeah.
But that's the definition of afraid of heights.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Just like you're not afraid of being alone in the dark, you're afraid of not being alone in the dark. You're not afraid of heights, you're afraid of falling from from those
cliff.
heights.
You're
You're not afraid of the sound of the toilet flushing, you're afraid of your poop coming back out and getting you.
What's happening? Whoa.
It does freak me out when the like on those automatic flushes when you finally get down there to do your business and all of a sudden they go whoosh.
Yeah,
And
we're
you're
like,
I really need my butt sprayed. Thank you, Mr. Toilet.
or like when you lean
No.
forward, and it flushes and you're like, "Excuse me, sir. I was not done. I'm still going."
or you just barely get your cheeks hovering over the rim and you're just like, dude, I didn't even start.
You stand up.
I got
and
you,
hear
bro.
the sound, you're like, whoosh. You stand up and you hear and you're just like, whoa.
What's
I was gonna
happening?
take care of that, but Casper can, I guess, if he wants to.
Yeah.
Guys, I can't find it. I'm so sad.
Well, what?
I'm sad. I wanted to see it.
Okay, so let's say ghosts are real. What are they? What are these things that people are experiencing?
So my thoughts are they are spirits that are, or, you know what? I actually don't have any thoughts. Like I really don't. I don't know how to explain it, and I don't want to try to explain it.
You think it's a bunch of nonsense?
No, I don't think it's a bunch of nonsense. Just because I have not had any experiences myself does not mean that I do not believe in it. It just means that I will provoke it and try to poke the bear.
He's
Reveal thyself.
He's like Mulder. He wants to believe.
Yeah. Well, I'm
No,
like that.
I
way
think I do
around about
believe.
aliens too, but I know it's hard to say because, I mean, I'm just trying to think of like if it's scientifically evident that there is something happening of the spiritual nature of.
I think.
Because ghosts are technically disembodied spirits.
See, the thing is like I don't know if there's enough evidence to prove it, but I also don't think that there's any evidence that can disprove it. Just like what we were talking about a couple weeks ago.
Right.
But
or like trying to prove or disprove the existence of a supreme creator.
yeah.
You guys are sitting here talking all deep, and I'm sitting here watching Starbuck try and make his bed. It's so cute.
I feel like I should be really high for this podcast.
I know, same.
Oh my goodness.
What that one hit wasn't enough for you, huh?
What?
So
I'm just kidding.
hi Boomer. Well, this is the thing is that like there's different belief sets when it comes to the purpose of life. Like there's some that believe that we lived in some sort of different form before we have the physical form in our mortal realm that we understand right now,
Why did
that
Google
we're
just
at
talk
right
to me?
now, versus
What?
where we're going to go
I didn't hear you.
after this. What's
You
happening?
guys didn't hear it, but Google just talked.
Probably somebody
Oh,
said something
hey.
close to Google. Hey, Google.
Hey Google, stop interrupting. Anyways.
Shut up, Google.
You guys,
That
I'm
was really-
serious.
really
I
rude,
wish you
but-
would have heard that. She literally was like, I don't understand.
Oh, did she really? Oh.
Yeah.
I would be more worried if it was an Alexa doing it, but Google, I don't know.
It must be ghosts. It's haunted.
Anyways.
No,
Just saying.
but anyways, what I'm saying is that there's some religious beliefs or different dogmas that dictate that we lived in some form before we were born in this realm that we understand and know, and so we're unified with whatever we were before to what we are now, and then whatever we were united before will fall away, and then we'll go back to how we were living before and other things. So some people say that these ghosts are actually disembodied spirits, like whether it's family members or angels or some form of that.
Yeah.
Hey, did I tell you how my mom went to the paranormal lady, the angel lady?
Oh, I think
Several
you meant.
times, yeah.
I think you talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
And
And-
how my dad was watching over me?
Yes. I remember you talking about
Did I
that.
tell you that? So she said it was going
Lay
to
down,
be
buddy.
white butterflies.
Go lay down, buddy.
White butterflies.
So the angel lady told my mom.
I like that she's called the Angel Lady.
Well, I don't know her name.
Well, I like it. I think it's really catchy.
So my mom went to the angel lady, and she told my mom that my dad is with me because he is graduated this life.
Right.
And so she said that my dad is with me. And my mom asked her, well, does he help her? And she chuckled and said, he said that he does when she lets him. Like implying I don't let him help me that much.
That's interesting.
That's such a specific thing to say too. It's like, I don't know.
That's really interesting that she said that.
Well, and then she said, and tell her to look for white butterflies, the little white butterflies. So then Jacob and I went hiking up to Hidden Haven Falls, literally the Saturday after. It was that Saturday for your birthday weekend.
Okay.
And I saw a little white butterfly.
Oh.
While we were hiking.
That's interesting.
Which I was like, oh, okay.
Well, what's interesting too is that actually this is one of the documentaries that we watched. I don't remember. It was like Superhuman or something like that. And it basically talks about things of like a paranormal nature, like people using their intention or their focus to basically move something. Well, what we commonly know as telekinesis.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they did like these different tests where this lady could make something very light move.
Uh-huh.
And they showed how she could do it in a non-vacuumed situation where it was like a big glass globe over the top of it. And then she could use her intention or telekinesis, if you will, to like make a little piece of paper spin on a needle. And then they did a similar experiment 200 miles away in a completely vacuumed scenario, like kind of like the same thing, but in a vacuum. And somehow it moved while she was telling it to move, basically, in her mind.
Whoa. Wow.
All right. So
what
then,
about the freeze experiment? What's his name? The Asian guy. They did the book on like hope and love.
the water.
Yeah, the frozen water.
The crystallized water. So the guy flash froze water that had been exposed to certain frequencies. So the words we speak hold a frequency. Our vocal cords have a frequency. All this sort of stuff, right? So it's called Messages in Water. And is what he did is he would take, and you can do this with rice. Kids do it now with rice for science experiments. And so they expose, like they put rice in water and put it in 2 different jars and expose it to different kinds of music. What? But I want it like
away from it.
in my mouth. No, I'm just kidding. Don't even say it. Don't even. I know exactly what's happening right now.
I declare bankruptcy.
So bad.
Sorry. Continue.
So bad. Anyway, so they exposed it so he exposed 1 jar of water or some water to heavy metal music and then others to instrumental music. You're cracking me up. Alakai, stop it. I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to be serious about the messages of water right now.
She's trying to be serial, people. Can you please focus?
I just couldn't notice it.
Oh, like, do we have to say it so we can move on?
No.
Could I please? Okay. Can I get a countdown?
No. Stop.
That's what she said.
And there it is. Okay, now
I
Ken.
apologize. Anyways, we're talking about the freezing the water and
There you go. Breathe it in.
see, this is why we don't need a script. Like, it's so much more fun when it's off script.
Yeah, but I want to hear this damn story.
I apologize. Like, it takes us like 5 years to get one of these out because we're just
I swear.
The peanut gallery over here keeps
Squirrel.
talking about stuff.
Okay, so
All right.
but he exposed like heavy metal, and when he flash froze the water, the crystals were actually dark and dingy, and like really kind of muddled. After being exposed to heavy metal music, then he would like expose water to Bach and classical like music, and he would flash freeze it, and it would crystallize in like these beautiful, gorgeous patterns. And then like he would speak different words or say different things to the water and then flash freeze it. And depending on what was said,
It gave a different
result. And it was like used,
Very
it was the
interesting.
same, it was water from the same sample. The only thing that was different was what he exposed it to.
So does water have emotion?
Yes. So well,
there's some experiments that's being done on like bacterial
Oh.
cultures, like in yogurt and stuff like
Hold
that.
on. We got to unlock the door
Why?
because Kate's coming.
Oh, hi, Kate.
That's crazy.
So
Like,
Just
there's
text
a book.
her,
I will
text
give
her
you
our
the
family
book.
code so she can just come in. We trust her. Get her, Boomer. Is that her?
that would be our home security.
The miniature pincer and the Chihuahua Terrier. Grrr. But yeah, that was actually really interesting. I know that the scientific community, really ragged on him for what he did. But yeah, they did. It was actually really bad. They call it pseudoscience and all this stuff. But for what he did and the outcome, it is very interesting. And I kind of wish that they would do more experiments on the
But they
thought
have.
experiments.
So like kids do it for science fair projects. They take and make two different bottles of rice. Like they put water and then put regular white rice in it, right? They set it out and then they'll expose it to different things. Like they'll talk nice to the rice like for several days.
Oh.
And the rice that's been exposed to like I love you, you're awesome, like all these positive like positive words and everything stays white. But the rice that's in the water that is exposed to like I hate you, you suck, you're an idiot, blah blah blah, it starts turning brown and molding.
Whoa. Okay.
That's
so
interesting.
you actually try it and see what
Okay.
happens.
That would be an interesting one, I think, for you to look at. I think it's called Superhuman. I think it's on Prime. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's really interesting because if you think about we as humans, we're made primarily of water. I mean, our body is
over
water.
50%.
We're like
It's
70
like
to
60.
80% water.
No, it's not that much. It's closer to like 60 to 65.
Look it up. Fact check yourself right now.
I just heard on Joe Rogan. I trust it.
Oh, dude.
Oh my.
Joe Rogan is not end all be all.
Well,
And it
this is
depends
true,
on how
but-
hydrated you are. But if you think about the thoughts you think about yourself on a regular basis and how that impacts your body. So people who are anxious and allow those negative tapes to run in their heads. That's why like positive affirmations have a place in cognitive behavioral therapy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is also a PSA to drink water today.
Yes. And then if my mom were here, she would say, drink your, what's that water that she made us get?
I don't know.
I haven't drank
Something,
that.
I don't know.
I'll have to call her. Watch me call her and be like, Mom.
What kind of water is that? Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Like when I was younger, it was the day that we buried my grandfather on my father's side. It was very, very snowy. It was very slushy that day, very cold, and I remember standing there next to the hole after they lowered him in, and I did feel like my grandfather was there. Which is which is interesting. Not like I see something, but it was like a presence. Like you feel like
I think
he's okay.
That's a huge thing with a lot of funerals, especially with family members that are like super close. You either feel like wow, something's really missing, or you feel like wow, I feel this person here with me.
Have you ever been to a funeral?
Yeah,
Open
actually.
casket.
Yes,
You guys are going very morbid.
I know.
Well,
my
it kinda goes with that
grandmother.
paranormal theme.
My grandmother's funeral was open casket. I know. So my cousin had a funeral a couple of years ago, and his was open casket, but only to like the direct family members. So like there was a moment where like a lot of like the direct family from that side just went in,
Yeah.
and while everybody else was separated and had the open casket, and that was it. Nobody else got to see. So
Yeah.
There is a story of my dad having a near-death experience the same night my aunt died. And he saw her during his experience.
That's interesting. Wow.
So my dad had a lot of health issues. He broke his back. He had multiple surgeries, all this sort of stuff. And he hold on. I'm communicating.
Well,
Real quick. So, he was in the hospital, and my aunt had been struggling with breast cancer, and it was close. Like, we all knew, like, she was off of respite, or she was doing respite care, and she was home, and we knew the time was getting close. But my dad had to have surgery down in Salt Lake, and I think it was when they were putting the morphine pump in him. I don't remember. I think it was because they accidentally overdosed him, and that's what.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many stories. But my aunt had passed away in the middle of the night. We got a phone call at like 11:30 at night. And so my mom said, okay, you stay here because you have to go to school in the morning. Yeah, that's how we deal with this. That's how I was like, okay, I'll go to school, even though my aunt just died. Whatever.
Business as usual. Nothing
Yeah.
to see here.
I mean, at this point, it was kind of normal to go through like
Right.
major family drama. And so so she went down to Salt Lake to tell my dad that his sister had just passed away. And when she went into the hospital room, he was blue. And he wasn't breathing. And he wasn't responsive. And so my mom like freaked out. She went into the nurses. I guess his monitor had fallen off of him. So they didn't hear
They
didn't know he had flatlined, and like it didn't trigger the alarms and stuff. And so my mom went out to the nurses station. They came in, they brought in the crash cart, everything. They revived him and everything. So my mom has had like this very traumatizing night. Lost a sister-in-law, walked in, her husband was essentially dead. So we came back, and they're in the hospital, and she's sitting there and she's like, Greg, Pat died. And he said, no, she didn't. She was just here.
Oh.
And my mom was like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, she was literally just here. She was just closing the curtains. She said that I had to stay.
Oh.
And that was what he was experiencing when he was.
Wow.
And my mom's like, what? And he's like, yeah, she said I had to stay. It wasn't my time.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, that kind of gave me the chills.
So
I have a hard time with funerals just in general, and like it was hard when my grandfather on my mom's side passed away, but it was shortly after that my mom's sister passed away, and it was just too much, too close, I think, for me. But because when I look at somebody who's passed away and looking at their open casket, I feel so disconnected. Like I look at them and it's like, that's not that person. That's not my aunt. That's not my grandpa.
Because they look different.
I think it's also at the same time you're thinking, yep, that's them, and they are dead.
Yeah.
I think that's like, I remember it was the same thing with my grandma when I like walked into the and like saw her in the open casket, I was like, yep, that's grandma, and she is dead. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I've got to go do my moving everyday goal.
We're going to talk about
girl.
aliens now.
You have my permission to talk about aliens.
You have my full attention, sir.
So,
Well,
goodbye,
thank you for
everybody.
coming, sweetheart.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you.
Be safe out there.
Love you.
It's,
Love you too.
oh, it's still early. I was like, careful while it's dark, and I'm like, wait a minute, it doesn't get dark until like almost 10. What are
Not
we talking
anymore.
about?
I think it's just because like this window looks like it's
Yeah.
super dark out, but no,
Yeah.
it's just because it's the basement.
It freaked me out, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those things. Like, you can't prove it one way, you can't prove it the other way. So it's just kind of like, the only thing I can say is it's possible. It's possible it's disembodied spirits from our loved ones from the next life, or it's just energy, being whisked away and around, around us. Maybe it's a multi-dimensional person from another dimension. I mean, it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
It could be Jesus. Tap
When-
me on the shoulder. Jacob. You don't know. We just don't know.
If and when I have an experience with the paranormal and like have a face-to-face confrontation with or some kind of experience or story or whatever, I will let you know.
I honestly love to hear them. It's very intriguing.
So do I. Like, hearing them and like learning about them is actually really cool. But I think the closest that I have to an encounter in a paranormal, like with the paranormal, is like, I think I was saying it earlier. So with Old Main at SUU is known to be a very haunted like spot in Cedar City, as well as the Shakespeare Theater. That all theaters are haunted, but
all theaters, all theaters, all
no,
mausoleums, all crypts.
So one night hammocking at SUU is very popular, and one night I was hammocking outside, like on campus. Hello, dogs, and.
Oh my goodness, close the door. Good grief.
And so I had I had like looked up in one of the windows, and I thought I saw one of the lights like turn on and off. And then I think I saw like what looked like the outline of a person move past the window. And I don't think anybody else was in that building, because I had been there for a while and nobody had been going in and out. So that's like the closest that I get to.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Again, I don't freaking know.
Like I mean I've had a lot of interesting experiences that I can't explain, Like, is there some kind of like telepathy connection, like, to people, like for instance, when my mother for some reason had to move the van up at the cabins, and a huge tree fell on it.
Oh yeah,
like,
I remember we were talking about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we already told these stories. Or when we didn't know where my little brother was at, he took off on his 3-wheeler, and disappeared, and I didn't know none of us knew where he was at, and I was just like, had this, I don't know what to call it, image. Some people could call it a vision, but I could see my brother plain as day with his 3-wheeler in the canal. Like, it was dry, but it was like in the canal, like riding back and forth.
Uh-huh.
And I distinctly remember that. What was that? I don't know. Was he telling me where he was at? I mean, is it God? Is it the spirit? Is it, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing, is that there's just not enough, I guess there's just not enough positives for me. And there's not really a lot of, like, there's no physical evidence attached to it except for what I experience. And that's the only thing I can go by. But what's really interesting about our brains is that it could easily trick us.
Yeah.
Like, you can easily be, misseeing things, because you also have what's called imagination within our brains. And you could easily, like, go out hunting and you thought you saw a buck and you shot the buck, but you end up shooting somebody that was hunting for bucks.
Oh, shoot.
And that's actually a story that's happened. Not within me, but that I've heard told many times. There's like, stories of people that happen. So, I mean, it's just hard to know what it is, or if it's anything at all, or if it's just all in our brains. I don't know.
Do you want to hear my alien theory?
I love alien theories. Hit me.
Okay.
I really do. I love talking about this stuff.
Okay. So, listen. So, we hear a lot of stories about, like, the alien invasion is, like, this Independence Day where all the aliens
like
come
H.G.
down.
Wells.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where all the aliens come down and, like, a militarized, ready to take over. But what if the aliens are already here and the invasion was not going to be an Independence Day? It was going to be an infiltration. And here's what I mean by that. We have a lot of stories where people talk about a demon in their house. And this monster is possessing one of their loved ones. But what if that is not a demon that is trying to infiltrate?
Oh.
And what if that is an extraterrestrial being that is actually trying to get inside of you and trying to infiltrate the world through you? And that is what possession is. It's not some divine thing. What if possession...
Or the reverse of the divine of the,
Right.
We point down this way. This is hell.
Yeah, if it's like some kind of demonic possession.
Demonic possession.
What if that is not it, but instead it is an alien trying to get inside of you, take your body over, and
mess up the world.
That's how they take over the world.
That'd be interesting. I was trying to think of this movie I saw. But it was about aliens, and they were parasitical, and they were actually made of light, and so they would actually link like with your neural network. I do that from here because that's how they entered into your neural network.
Is that isn't the fourth kind, is it?
No, it's kind of a love story, very slow moving love story movie adapted from a book.
Right. Okay.
I'm sure there's somebody watching this going, it's this movie, this book. I can't think of it right now, but what was interesting was that's how they were taking over people, is that they were a parasite, and they would, in order to move about and experience things that's going on another planet, they actually would take over your body. So they take over your body, have all your memories. And it turned out that I can't remember the whole thing, but anyways, they would basically use people's bodies as vehicles, and so they kind of take the consciousness of that person, kind of throw it, into a box, and then they become the consciousness in that person. It was a very interesting film. I honestly think that would be more likely, like if it's an entity like from a different dimension, or like a spirit kind of entity,
right?
That's maybe connecting with the atoms and the particles and stuff around us and inside of us. I think that would be more likely than like you were saying, Independence Day or War of the Worlds or something like that. I think that would be more likely. And also we also have a human component that whenever we see something, we kind of try to go, okay, this kind of looks like this, so it kind of be like this. Like, you kind of are always comparing and contrasting.
Uh-huh.
So when people look at something, they try to make it fit into a mold that they already have, like, inside their mind.
Yeah, right.
Which is why you get like faces like on the shadows on planet Mars, and like underwater like spaceships, supposedly because of like their shape. They automatically go, oh, that's an alien spaceship because it has this kind of form to it.
Did you ever see? Here we are going back to movies. Did you ever see?
I love it.
I don't remember exactly what it was called. It had Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner in it.
The Arrival.
Yes, yeah. So this is a movie about like aliens coming down to Earth, and then instead of like a battle, like these two come together and they're trying to like learn how to communicate with each other.
Very interesting movie.
And they build a relationship
Mm-hmm.
like through that.
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of feel like that's how contact with an extraterrestrial being would go, is instead of like, oh, immediately hostile, like no.
Or just come out and say like, "Hey, I'm here."
Like, yeah.
Bop bop bleep blop.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure that being is going to be just as curious about being alone in the universe as we are,
Mm-hmm.
or finding somebody else in the universe. Like, you've got to be curious and you've got to want to like communicate and
Yeah.
like, yeah.
More than likely, I mean, they probably would be cautious, I would think.
I mean, yeah, but so would anybody else.
But I think, yeah, that's why, like,
you
know,
got someone coming into your house. It's like,
yeah.
so you want some coffee, or are you here to take my stuff? Like,
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think they would just like show up and like park their spaceship in the middle of a park and be like, "Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Ergo 457 from, you know, the Orion Belt Nebula or whatever." I don't know what they would say.
I'm sure if they
But
could,
they'd probably do probes first. I bet we would probably see some kind of there's actually another story that's attached to that, but I'll circle back. But I think honestly, if they're smart enough and if they can see and understand us from a distance, they'd probably keep their distance until they know that it's going to be safe for them to actually have like some kind of face-to-face contact.
use radio. Like, you talk to me from over there, I'll talk to you from over
Yeah,
there.
We're going back to movies again, like Contact.
Yeah.
You know, they start out with a signal, and that's actually based. That movie actually is based off of a signal that they did receive through those antennas, and they still don't know what it was, where it came from, or whatever. But it was an actual transmission of radio waves. They're not sure if it was like a reflection off of a planet or anything like that, because, you know, it's hard to prove or disprove stuff.
Yeah.
But they had something happen. I can't remember if it was the one in Mexico or Peru. Not Peru. Puerto Rico? No, I don't know. It was a huge antenna, like a bunch of antennas they were doing. But anyway, but that's what spawned that movie. But I think it would be something more passive to say like, "Hey, we got your message."
Yeah.
Or, "Hey, you're not alone either." I mean, obviously it wouldn't be words, but it would probably be a device or something from their world that came to ours to let us know we're not alone in the universe.
Yeah.
Like a message in the bottle kind of thing.
Right.
I think that would be most likely in the physical sense. But it's just likely that it you know, aliens, how we think it, could be just interdimensional, you know, beings from just different dimensions. We're all sharing the same space, but we're made up of different compounds and stuff like that, which enables us to be in different spaces.
Like his dark materials.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you think about it, like, everybody in that movie is an alien to their
exactly.
to that world. Like,
exactly. And so it's going to be really interesting when it happens in a way that it's definitive. Because right now we have a lot of evidence, that some people call it, but we have a lot of things that we're seeing that we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the government and the military are experiencing things that they don't understand. I mean, more than likely, you know, they're probably vehicles that we just don't understand, that they're creating and building, you know, in these different like shadow companies or these shadow groups. But like, we are human, so it's really hard for us to keep a secret. So it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't think there's enough evidence out there or proposed evidence to say one way or the other. I think we still need something a bit more concrete.
Yeah. And I'm sure whenever that evidence comes to light, it is going to be one of the most viral things that ever sees the planet. So,
well, it's going to change it's going to change a lot of things. I mean, I think it's going to change, religious belief and dogma. It's going to change science. It's going to change math. It's going to change physics. It's going to change quantum mechanics. It's going to change everything, because the only things that we understand and know, like from our science that we know scientifically, is just what we know here. And that's something really interesting too, is that even though like meteorites have hit us from like outer space and we've gone to the moon, so far everything is made up of carbons and atoms, just like what we're made of. Mm-hmm. So they haven't found anything new in that regard.
Wouldn't that be crazy though, to find a new element to add to the periodic table?
Yeah.
Like, how crazy would that be?
Like another meteorite like hit our planet. Hopefully it's small enough that it doesn't end the world.
Yeah.
And we go and study that, and it's like another element.
Yeah, that we have not discovered
or
yet.
It's not made of atoms, or it's not made of carbons and silicates and all the other periodic things on the periodic table. That would just be nuts. And just like in Ronald Reagan's speech where he said that, wouldn't it be interesting, if we were, met with a threat of something from another world, and how quick we would unify and back each other up to thwart that threat.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting. But yeah, I mean, even though I got to see like the Phoenix Lights and stuff like that, I didn't look up and go, oh, those are ETs. Like I look up and went, huh, that's interesting. Must be airplanes. Like I was a young kid at that time. It was like in the late 90s, and I was born in, the early 80s. And so, yeah, I just looked up and went, oh, that's interesting. And they were in the sky for hours. Like it was very fascinating. And looking back on it, I still don't feel anything different. I still don't think it's aliens. I think that we're probably, if or a matter of time of when we experience extraterrestrials, it's going to come in a way that we don't realize or understand until much later, after it's already happened, probably. Because we don't know, what aliens look like. We don't know if they do look like little gray men that look like children, or...
I mean, shoot, they could just be like fish. Like...
Yeah, or it could be an entity that lives within oxygen. Like it's just like air.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say if there's another... It definitely is. Like, the universe is too big for there not to be, but like still.
Yeah, and it's so big that it's just unrealistic for other creatures with our intelligence or way far ahead in technological, terms of their knowledge. They're just too far away to reach.
Yeah. Other than that, could just have another planet full of animals.
Yeah.
Like, or animal-like creatures, I should say.
Yeah.
Like, you get my point.
Yeah, I absolutely get your point. They could be as small as, what is that, the thing they found the smallest like animal? It's like the polar bear bug or something like that. I don't know.
Polar bear bug? That's new to me. I've not heard that.
It's not the polar bear bug. It's some kind of, they call it some kind of bear, but it's like,
I'll look it up.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's considered the smallest animal because, it's not just like a one-cell organism or anything like that, but it actually, some kind of bear, I can't remember what it's called, but it thrives in like super cold. Like it would survive like being frozen and unfrozen. Kind of a deal.
World's
Very
smallest,
resilient.
according to Google, the world's smallest animal is, I don't know how to say this name. The Pedophrine amauine.
What?
Look at this. Look at this. I don't know how to read that.
Oh, it's like a frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the smallest, like infinite. But there's some, maybe it's an insect. I don't remember. Small bear creature. I can't Google. creature lives in ice.
They thrive in ice cubes.
I can't remember what they're called. It's something. It's like it's something bear. I can't remember.
Panda
Small
bear.
bear.
Black bear.
Insect. Maybe it's an insect.
Bears. Beats.
That's it.
Battlestar.
Yeah.
Galactica.
Tardigrade. Oh, colloquially known as water bears or moss piglets.
Moss piglets.
This thing, it's the smallest insect.
Oh yeah, that looks like it had to have been a picture taken from a microscope.
Yeah, but they look funky, man. Like here you go. Here's some more examples. It's got so it has 8 legs, like not like a spider, but they look like bear legs.
You'll have to tell them what to Google.
So it's its term,
or put a picture on here somewhere. Somehow.
its insect name is tardigrade, also known as water bears or moss piglets. But yeah, Google that. Like that thing is interesting. So so alien life could just be that, or it could be one-celled organisms. Like it could be, goodness, it could be anything. It could be rocks that are alive. What? I don't know.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I lost my buzz, and now I'm just.
No, you're just asleep. Well, I think the alien, phenomenon, even these aerial, these unidentified flying objects, the aerial phenomena.
I got a UFO
is
theory.
really interesting. It really is. And if they are visiting us, there's actually a group. I can't remember what I've seen a lot of alien documentary stuff, but basically there's this group and they give you a way where you can actually connect with ETs, and they actually do it through their minds, and they basically all get together and they all think of the same thing, and apparently these aliens supposedly come to them, and they've actually have seen apparently allegedly, and they've had some photos these kind of triangular head looking things, but again there's never a clear picture ever. It's always in the dark, in the shadows.
I got a
hundreds of miles away. This is an alien. I don't know.
I got a UFO theory.
Oh, okay. UFO theory.
Which is kind of derives away from aliens. So, UFOs. I was talking to someone about this a while ago. So, UFOs, if they are not alien spaceships, what if they are actually time machines?
Yeah. I mean, it's just as likely as any of the other theories that are out there.
Because, the reason we haven't really made any contact with any, physical contact is because, I'm sure if there are laws in the future, one of the biggest rules that you're not supposed to break is don't talk to anybody. That's you can go and look and check it out, but don't talk to them. So.
Well, and there's also theories about time and relativity where, even if we do create a time machine, that we actually would not be able to go back in time farther than when the time machine was actually created.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you wouldn't be able to go back and see the dinosaurs or see what we looked like when we were Neanderthals. Or
Bummer.
maybe we'd be able to go back and talk to Adam and Eve and be like, hey, did this thing actually happen? Oh, the snake was an actual snake. I mean, it'd be really interesting.
It isn't Adam and Eve. You guys were just a bunch of monkeys, and now you evolved into people that now...
I mean, who knows? Honestly, who knows? There's some holes in the Darwinian, theory. There's holes, there's holes in everything because it's not an exact science. There's not any way to actually go back and, and actually speak to those people. We can do the best that we can with bones and carvings and all the other stuff we can do through paleontology. But at the end of the day, even as best as we do with science, it's still not perfect.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're just making up words and making up equations and saying that it actually equals something. Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. I mean, unless like Jesus actually came and visited you and be like, dude, this stuff is legit. It's aside from that, or an angel visiting you or something.
But trigger warning. But I know the church is true.
Well, and in that faith, when you receive an answer to your prayer with the burning in your bosom, that's truth because the Spirit told you so.
It's called heartburn.
Or it could be, different things lighting up in your brain. I mean, it could be a chemical change, or it could be indigestion, or maybe you have a fever. I mean, there could be a lot of things that they're going along with that. Or honestly, they could be completely correct. And we're all wrong. I mean, I still go back to that one special on South Park when everybody dies. They're like, well, who was right? And they're like, what? And they're like, well, who was right? Which religion? They're like, oh, it's the Mormons. The Mormons.
The Mormons were actually right.
Hilarious. Yeah. Parker. Good stuff. But I don't know. I would be absolutely terrified if I actually had a one-on-one encounter with a extraterrestrial.
I think I would be terrified. I don't know what I would feel, because if they were hostile, yeah, I'd be terrified. But if they were like just someone wanting to communicate, then
if it's just standing there looking at you,
at that point, I'd just be curious. If they're just standing there looking at me, I'd probably be like, all right, well, if I'm gonna die, then at least I get to say that like I died from an alien and I was the first one to do it.
And I know.
And I know, so it matters. But
yeah, I mean, I think I'd be terrified at first, and then I'd probably be more curious, and then I'd probably like get to the point where I'm like, okay, this is either really creepy or maybe I should just try to reach out and communicate with you somehow.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, how do communicate? Because you obviously don't speak English unless somehow they do, which would be insane.
Well, and it's very possible that they would. I mean, especially if, let's just say that all these vehicles that keep visiting us and these different experiences that people are having with these alleged abductions and like visitations is just a way for them to get to know us, and they actually do know English because they've been observing us for so long. I mean, but what's interesting is that as far as like documented stuff, we've only had the thought of extraterrestrials from other planets, big head, big eyes, for 60, 70 years. Like, when was the first ones? In like the 30s and 40s?
I genuinely have no idea.
I can't remember when like the first ones started to crop up, but it also kind of ebbs and flows too, depending on where we're at in society. For some reason, sometimes like it like booms and all of a sudden everybody's talking about it, and then it like goes away and nobody talks about it. But I think it's definitely come up a lot more because of the release of those footage with the Air Force, or was it the Navy?
I'm not sure.
One of those branches of the government. But they released 2 videos and said yes. Well, actually, they've been circulating a lot longer than when they released it, but they basically said, yes, these are actual videos, and yes, we've experienced something, but we're not sure what it is. But of course, everybody goes, aliens.
Yeah, that one meme guy just
with the big old hair.
Yeah.
But I love watching ancient aliens. It's interesting. I think out of all of the different testimonies and all the things that, the different people from branches of government, people from, allegedly or formerly working in Area 51, to all the people's eyewitnesses and such like that, all of the the photos and everything. I think the one thing that I watched was that documentary. I think it was called Phenomenon. But after everything was done and said, it basically starts with this group out in South Africa, I think somewhere in the middle of nowhere, where this tribe was like had a school and stuff like that. And basically the whole school experienced this craft. It landed. 2 people came out with big heads and big eyes, actually sent images into the minds of these kids and gave them a message. And then they actually went back and had as many of those kids and teachers come and talk about it again.
Whoa.
Honestly, that was the first time I went, okay, you have something here. Because it's not like, 100 people, seeing it from different angles and like having different experiences and different shapes, or like somebody in the military saying this is what I experienced or whatever. But it was children.
So, okay, what was the message?
So they sent them images about our world and how we are severely destroying our world with the things that we've created and done with it.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah. And the message was like basically take care of your world was the basic message.
Gotcha.
You should watch that. That's honestly the first thing I went, okay.
Send me a link or
yeah, I'll have to send you.
Like yeah.
I'll look it up after we're done.
I'll watch it.
It's really interesting. I mean, I don't believe and I don't disbelieve. I think the only thing I can say,
Cop out.
Yeah, it is fence sitting. I apologize, but I would say right now, I don't think we've been visited. Even the theory of like subterranean, like aliens, like reptilian people, like way deep in the earth, with the whole, hollow earth theory, like that was shown in Kong, or Godzilla versus Kong.
I never saw any of those movies. I'm going to be honest with you.
They're silly movies, but anyways, it basically came with that, like put that theory inside of the movie, which was really interesting. They actually go inside of the hollow earth, and there's like another like world going on down there. But there's also the theory that, our planet is molten lava and has, different layers in the mantle and all that fun stuff. I think it's unlikely that we've been visited. Yeah. And I think all these things, all these testimonies and stuff is either a big government conspiracy to get us thinking of other things than what's actually going on in the world to keep us, docile and easy to manipulate and easy to run or reign at this point. Or they're crafts from different individuals or peoples, like I said, in like these black op like engineering places where people are creating things that are doing fantastic things that we don't understand.
Yeah.
And if they are moving the way they are, more than likely not manned.
See, like
that's where I'm at on there.
I don't know. I think there's so many different things that point to like, oh yeah, these images definitely prove that like we've been visited, and then but like it's so easy to debunk that. It's like,
well, yeah,
I don't know, maybe.
Well, yeah, I think there's a private organization. I can't remember what it's called. But there's a private organization that basically takes all these images and these videos and, these experiences and basically tries their best to debunk it.
Uh-huh.
And they said out of all of the thousands and thousands of images and experiences and stuff like that, they said that they could debunk about 85 to 90% of it. But there was always that 10 to 15. Yeah, but yeah, definitely. But there was still that 10 to 15%. They were like, I don't know. Like it's not really any, logical way that this makes sense. But at the same time, there's also the ancient alien theory which is that we've been visited for thousands of years, and that people have been telling us about them through carvings. And stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Do you think aliens built the pyramids?
That's a good question.
Like,
I mean,
come
I
on.
honestly don't know, especially with that one pharaoh that had a very strange head shape,
yeah.
which they actually have the bones and everything of it. That's pretty strange. But then again, there's also all these different, tribes and stuff that have that elongating like head tradition that they would like wrap the head to make it like become elonged. So, I mean, it could have been a birth defect. It could have been tradition or a new tradition that they were starting. I mean, it could be anything. But, I mean, just as likely, it could have been aliens.
Yeah.
Or at least aliens engineering the possibility to create it and then had man actually build it by hand. Especially with that technology, I mean, it could have been done. I mean, it could have been forms and some kind of like cement of that time that we just don't understand.
Yeah.
That could have been the technology that built it. Not these hundreds of thousands of bricks being, cut and like brought 100 or so miles from where it was allegedly quarried.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's possible. Anything's possible. I mean, I'm one of those people that want to believe that there's still a sense of magic. I'm not saying like actual magic, but stuff that we just really don't understand. Like, I always like to think that there's more out there to the world. There's more things to understand, more things to discover. Like our oceans. Like
My goodness.
Like all the corners and places of the earth that nobody has touched.
I am actually like a firm believer that Atlantis does exist. Like, yeah. The city of Troy at one point was not like... The city of Troy was like supposedly a myth. And they found that. Like, don't know
It's probably
why.
just a matter of time. Because our world has changed. I mean, during the Ice Age, like the Americas or the pangenical, shape of the world or the continents at that time or whatever, it used to be under like a mile-high sheet of ice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if we could have come from that to where, all of the places that we pretty much live nowadays was all underwater, there's barely any land, to where we're at today, I mean, it could have been very possible that, the waters had receded so much that they built up these societies and these different, groups of people, and it all got washed away when tectonic plates moved or whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
It's possible. And honestly, like, I think anything is possible in this world. Like,
It's 2021. We're not debunking anything at this point.
except for politics. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
It's just
but
all
doesn't need
politics.
this doesn't need to be a political podcast though.
No. I mean, we
I
can
don't
talk
s-
about issues every once in a while, but yeah.
I don't speak that language, so
It's interesting. I don't like to getting into the nitty-gritty of this person did this and I don't like this person because he's not aligning with my politics.
it has nothing to do with
But I like talking about the issues.
it has nothing to do with me wanting to start arguments. It just has to do with the fact that I just don't speak that language.
Yeah.
Like, I don't study politics enough to really be educated enough to have a strong standing point in anything. So
Yeah. Well, and it makes me so angry, like getting into all the politics and who's doing what and why we shouldn't listen to them because they did this or like, I'm all about just get me straight to the issues. Like, I'm tired of hearing about this person did this and that person did that. And then they're using misinformation and they're using the internet to basically mislead everyone away from anything that would symbolize something that's concrete.
yeah. Now
Stupid.
And now like debates, like presidential debates now have turned into roast battles.
Oh yeah, that's all it is. This person sucks because of XYZ. This is why you should vote for me because I'll do ABC. It's never like,
I'll
this
never
is what
forget.
I'm going to do my very best, even though I know I can't do anything without approval or whatever. But, that's what I'm going to focus on. But those people anyway. I won't get into it.
I'll never forget when there was this little clip of one of the political debates between Biden and Trump. And they were talking about events that they were holding, and like Trump was having like these huge events, and then Biden was having like much smaller events, and then Trump just went into his microphone. He was like, "Yeah, because nobody showed up." I was like, yo, come
all the
on.
time. Yeah, it's interesting. It is what it is.
If I could say anything to Trump, it would be stop tweeting.
He can't. He's been banned. He can't tweet anyways. But anyway, I mean, at the end of the day, let's go back to aliens. Where are you at on aliens?
They exist.
They exist.
We just haven't
seen
them yet.
Really seen them yet?
Haven't had any concrete evidence that has been released to the public to say, yes, we are not alone. No, we are not alone.
But it's going to be a very interesting day when it does come to light.
When it does come to light, it is going to change the world.
It's going to be fascinating. I think it's a good place to end. I like it.
Okay, cool.
Well, hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Just so you all know, we do appreciate you coming and watching, and this is all brought to viewers like you. So definitely let all your friends and family and everybody else know that we're having these fun podcasts every Thursday night around 7-ish MST, around 8-ish CST, and we will all see you in the next one.
Tell your mom I said hi.